It just feels like I'm holding in piss. Back to the video. Like, bro, I don't think you understand, bro. 1, 2. Bro, I have 5 full water bottles next to me. 1, 2, 3 in the trash can. And that's all for today. I just drink a lot of water.
Today's video is sponsored by CookUnity. CookUnity is the first chef-to-you meal delivery service, made up of over 70 different chefs who believe great food should be available for everyone, regardless of anyone's culinary skill set. We are all guilty of ordering dinner or lunch from overpriced delivery apps that have you paying double, if not triple, for food that half the time arrives cold or soggy. I myself, as well as most everyone that I know, is guilty of this, and this is where CookUnity shines. Unlike meal prep plans or buying all of the ingredients from the grocery store and worrying about freshness.
I'll just keep it about this, just another meal prep plan. Anyways, get this shit out of my face. W ad though, Cadaber. Let's go. Lock in. Full brand.
They say that you can never truly know someone 100%.
How did they
regardless
never find?
if it's a friend, never truly know someone.
How did they never find Ember? You're a man's killer. There's a good to know black people checking the restaurant. Somebody kept it nearby. How did the police not go to door to door and find all black people justified to leave? It just seems like this case.
100%. Regardless
A lot of male
of
G-spot
if it's
ass.
a friend or a family member. It's a statement that unfortunately too many of us can relate to. Maybe it was being betrayed by someone we saw as a best friend. Maybe it was being put into a situation that was inappropriate by a family member. Or maybe it was something even worse. This seemed to be the case for the Redditor going by the handle Corrupted, and her experience with her.
I mean, where would the G-spot be? Like a tip? Yo, imagine your G-spot being just on some like regular part of your body. Like imagine your G-spot being on the thumb to where whenever you like were to touch the thumb, it would. Yeah. Also, I just realized, damn, bro, I'm a fucking bad person. But I forgot to say bye to Gabe and Dylan and fuck. That's on me.
Their stepfather and stepbrother, who might possibly be responsible for something that went well past Reddit. Something that has gone unsolved.
Hold on, bro, what?
Experience with her stepfather for the Redditor going by the handle Corrupted, and her experience with her stepfather and stepbrother, who might possibly be responsible
stepbrother.
for
This better be some
something
weird ass
that
shit.
went well past Reddit. Something that has gone unsolved in Australia for over 30 years.
What the fuck going on in Australia? Yo, Josh. Yo, Josh, if you're still in the stream, what time is it for you? Oh, hell no. I feel like I've seen this fucking mugshot before, bro, but I forget the story, so it's okay.
And confused. Was I raised by...
Yo, Cadaber, my boy. Scarred gang. But it's okay. It's okay. So it's perfectly fine, bro. I love you.
by Mr. Cruel?
According to this picture, the bladder is near to this picture. Man, what the hell were you looking at? According to this picture, the bladder is near the prostate and rectum in the male G-spot. That's where the rectum is. Therefore, a full bladder should push the male G-spot. But through experimentation, I only have the intense need to piss on a full bladder. No pleasure. This is blasphemous. This is blasphemous. I just be wanting to piss. I don't be getting no fucking pleasure. What? Also,
And confused.
scarred and confused. Was I raised by Mr. Cruel?
Raised by Mr. Cruel?
Mr.
Hi,
Cool.
fellow Redditors.
Heard that name.
Not too sure if this is even where I should be, or even if I should be posting this. It's been on my mind for decades now, at least 30 plus years, and it has always terrified me. Although I have no definitive evidence, the coincidences
Talk to
are
me.
just
Coincidence.
too much.
Okay.
To start with, I am only mentioning all of this because I know it's anonymous.
Okay.
And if it wasn't, then there is no way I would even consider mentioning any of this in a public forum.
Bitch, how about you go to the fucking police with it, moron?
I grew up in an extremely abusive household.
Damn.
My mother displays narcissistic personality disorder. My stepfather is a pedophile. And
wow. Okay.
And his oldest son is an alcoholic, a compulsive liar, and also is a pedophile.
Yo, what's wrong with his fucking family? Also, Cadaber, if you do not mind, a little better blurring on the words would help, because that was, I mean, it was kind of clear what you said, but it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Sally, I know this is from
first-hand experience.
From first-hand experience? No.
And also know that I am not the only person that was afflicted by their attentions. No. My mother did nothing about the situation. In fact, she often deliberately put me in compromising positions, leaving me in their custody or turning a blind eye when she had undeniable evidence that something had occurred. Although
damn, bro, L fucking mom.
Murders and not other forms of abuse, this will all make sense as it is intertwined.
Fucking obviously L fucking dad and brother water balloon. Let's go. Nah, because sometimes like why I get horny when I have to pee, bro. Shit is wicked. Then I pee and I'm like I'm good. It's the bladder of doom, piss relief kink. I was 11 years old. I lived in the state of Tasmania and Australia.
My eldest stepbrother had moved interstate to Victoria to join the army, and I was just relieved for the break from his presence. When he completed his basic training, my stepfather and mother went for a trip to Victoria to watch my stepbrother march out, which is a ceremony at the end of their training to signify that they were now full-serving members of the Defense Force.
Okay.
They were gone interstate for approximately a 2-week period.
Okay.
My dates are not 100% accurate, but they were gone from about late August to somewhere to mid-September. I remember this clearly because once they came back to Tasmania, they had nothing but praise about mainland Australia. Tasmania is an island state, and they wanted to move there. We were packed and ready to move very fast, and were gone.
Damn, bro, that quick?
Over 2 weeks after their return.
Holy shit!
We arrived in Melbourne.
They must have loved that motherfucker place.
1987. Not long after we moved to Melbourne, there was an awful case on the news.
Wait, time out. Oh. Wait. Okay.
Because once they came back to Tasmania, they had nothing but praise about mainland Australia.
You're gonna be cash out me soon, bro.
Is an island state, and they wanted to move
I
there.
bet.
We were packed and ready to move very fast, and were gone in just over 2 weeks after their return. We arrived in Melbourne on the 5th of October, 1987. Not long after we moved to Melbourne, there was an awful case on the news about a man who was abducting young girls from their homes and abusing them. One of his last victims that I was aware of was a young girl named Carmen Chan.
Okay.
Although I was so young at the time and often ignored whatever news stories were on the news at the time, this stuck with me because we often ate dinner with the television on at the same time. Whenever something came on the news about Carmen Chan and the abductor that the media had dubbed Mr. Cruel, my stepfather would snap at me and insist that I shut up and keep quiet while he listened. He would turn the television up louder and become very focused on whatever the news was reporting. Mr. Cruel had abducted a few girls leading up to this point, and had mostly just assaulted them before he left them somewhere where they would be discovered and returned to their families. In
being weird as shit,
however,
but
she was never
no
returned.
killing.
and eventually she was found deceased.
Oh, and then he killed her. So
My
that's the start.
stepfather's abnormally intense interest in the news surrounding these cases always confused me, as he most certainly did not concern himself with my welfare.
So it wasn't,
and there was
he wasn't
plenty
worried
of
about the
news
cases for
on
her
television
sake.
for him to absorb.
Interesting.
So I had no idea why he was so interested in Mr. Cruel. He did have some peculiar interest, as he used to own a collection of booklets printed about serial killers in our home library. I did not read them all, as I was too young and really had no interest in the subject at the time. But I remember a book about Jeffrey Dahmer and Ted Bundy.
Okay.
Of course, this is not illegal to possess, and on its own, not entirely suspicious. But if you combine it with the rest of my post, then perhaps it will appear to be a little dubious. Anyway, it wasn't until I was much older that I started to question as to why my stepfather seemed so interested in Mr. Cruel at the time. That's when I started to read up on what little information the police had on their criminal/murderer. They believed that he was in the defense force, I think because of the way that he was so clean and left behind no evidence or minimal evidence. At the time of these abductions and murders, my stepbrother was in the army, but my stepfather was also a manic neat freak. He would make me wash the hubcaps of the car with a toothbrush when I was cleaning the car. And one day, he even went on a meltdown because I left a tiny ink mark on the front page of a newspaper while I was checking to see if my pen was working.
Honestly, on deck
was a compulsion. The one piece of physical evidence that apparently Mr. Cruel left.
Is my Wi-Fi tweaking? I don't think so. I just get the fuck out of the rest of the Sour Patch Kids.
Behind was a whisker. So the police thought that they were...
This was a compulsion. The one piece of physical evidence that apparently Mr. Cruel left behind was a whisker. So the police thought that they were looking for a redhead because the whisker was red. A red whisker? Man, what? They cannot no fucking kitten.
We're looking for a redheaded man because the whisker was red.
Whisker? Say fucking
Both
hair.
My stepfather and my stepbrother are brunette.
Okay.
Unless they grow facial hair. And they both have red facial hair.
Oh shit. Damn. So they're brunette. But when they grow a motherfucking beard. Okay.
The police also thought that their suspect was from either Tasmania or New Zealand due to some of the colloquialism language that the abducted girls...
And they were from Tasmania. Damn.
Heard. I cannot recall the exact phrase that was released to the media. I just know that when I read it at the time, I recognized it as something that my stepfather and stepbrother would use.
Oh shit.
They often use colloquialisms.
They like crazy? What you mean?
How do you like them apples? Or
how you like them apples? How does that grab you?
Sadistic, condescending tone. This is just a couple of the many that they used.
Okay.
Also, at the time of the abductions and the abuse and murder, all of the victims were female, and all of them were the
so
same
basically,
age as myself.
They stopped abusing their sister and were yo, maybe they were working as as a duo. But nonetheless, even if it was one of them, because apparently they were both abusing the sister, or I guess the daughter / sister. So did they move on from her and start abusing or not even kidnapping, just abusing other girls? This shit is weird.
Lastly, the last coincidence that comes to mind at the moment in this timeline, from what I read in the media, they believe that the first...
Yo, Cadaber, are you good, bro? I'm genuinely asking too. I'm not even trying to be a dickhead. Cause that's never mind. I'll move.
Abductions from Mr. Cruel occurred sometime in either late August or mid-September of 1987. I cannot recall the exact date. I just remember how ill it made me to know that both my stepfather and stepbrother were both in Victoria at the time this happened. And the last victim they believe Mr. Cruel abducted was either in September or very early October in 1992.
Damn, bro, holy shit. Bro, he was active for 5 years?
Important because against my wishes and against my stepfather's wishes, my mother insisted that we move back to Tasmania. and we left Victoria on October 5th,
Oh.
1992.
So they left
Just
as soon as the
after Mr.
kidnappings.
Cruel's last apparent abduction before
Oh,
he went quiet
shit.
in Victoria. Around the same time that we
Weird.
moved back to Tasmania, my stepbrother moved from Victoria to Queensland. So now both my stepfather and stepbrother were no longer in Victoria.
Damn.
Although both of them had been there during the times that Mr. Cruel was active. Both my stepfather and stepbrother have a sadistic streak, and I honestly believe that after living with them for 13 years, that either one of them was quite capable of doing those acts. My stepbrother was, however, a little skittish and anxious when he was being abusive, but my stepfather always kept his composure. At the time that Mr. Cruel was active, we lived in the northern suburbs of Melbourne, which is where Carmen Chan's body was found.
Oh,
and so did my
shit.
stepbrother. Her body was found only a couple of suburbs away from where we resided. My
Hell no,
stepfather
but this
does
shit
not appear to
too
fit the physical description
too many
of Mr.
coincidences.
Cruel, as he is quite short. But my stepbrother does. It
Okay.
would not even surprise me if they had acted if it was them
As a pair, yeah.
because each of them knew the other's fetishes and
What the
sadistic
fuck?
behaviors, and each of them covered for each other. At the time that Mr. Cruel was active,
Bruh, hell
I would
no.
also like to note that at least one of his victims stated that they could hear airplanes overhead when they were abducted. We
Okay.
lived in the northern suburbs of Melbourne at the time,
Not too-
too far
oh,
from an
not too far from
international
an international
airport,
airport.
and underneath the flight path of many of the flights.
Yo.
Also, one of the descriptions of a room
Too many
that one of the
coincidences,
girls
bruh.
was kept in matches up with what I can remember from one of my stepbrother's rooms when he was living out of our home for a while.
Bruh,
My
so- wait, so they
stepbrother never lived.
time out. They kept the girls that they would kidnap in the house. I don't know why I'm saying they, because I don't know which one it is or if they're working together. Whoever it is, kept the girls in the house, and surely not.
Barracks when we moved to Melbourne. He either rented his own place or he moved back with us for a while. The only time that I recall that he lived on base was just before we moved back to Tasmania. At this time, he was married and he was working as a chef at a communications depot. Because this depot was so small and in a rural area, and because he was married, he was provided a house on the depot site to live in with his wife at the time. Because he was a chef and the depot was so small, he was the only chef that I was aware of, so it was essential that he be available on site to cook breakfast, lunch, and dinners, so living at the depot was pretty essential. I also recall his really odd behavior, which
Okay.
may not have anything to do with
I also
this.
recall, bro, this entire fucking 13 minutes and 41 seconds has been odd behavior on his behalf, on your dad and brother's behalf. Like, what have you said to this point that has not been odd?
Case, but it was not uncommon to find him vacuuming his house or hanging washing out of the back to dry at 1 a.m. This
Yeah,
may
hell
have
no.
something to do with him being a chef and working hours that were different than most, just getting household chores.
Was good. Then what we watching? We watching Reddit Rabbit Holes Part 3. This reminds me of a friend I had in 6th grade whom I immediately cut off because he said in the future he wanted a grape dungeon with his brother. Oh wow, yeah, that nigga needs to be evaporated off the fucking face of the fucking planet. What the hell is wrong with him? Man, what? Grape dungeon, bro? Yeah, that nigga is actually sick in the fucking head.
Done when he could, but he was also an extreme neat freak, and I hated spending time there to keep his wife company because as a 16-year-old girl, I did not appreciate being woken up to help vacuum or hang the washing up so late at night. I mentioned all of this to a police officer years ago. All I can recall was that she was part of a task force at the time. She did ask me to get back to her, but I had a house fire and lost all of her
Damn,
contact details. Since then,
tragic.
I have never been able to locate them again since, and I have no idea what her name was. I really don't remember, although I really wish I did. I
Yeah.
truly believe
But the thing is, like, bro, you don't need a fucking task force to be able to talk to the police about this. Like, surely you can just be like, yo, I think my brother or my dad was Mr. Cruel. Like, you don't need to fucking you don't need to hit up the exact person, bro. Just hit up any goddamn law enforcement.
that one of them, if not both of them, were involved in this whole Mr. Cruel incident. It terrifies me to think that perhaps their dislike for me, or their passion to be sadistic towards myself, is possibly why they chose targets that were brunette and of the same age as myself. There is a saying in Australia which is, you don't shit where you eat, which means if you are going to commit a crime, you don't do it in your backyard, because it's just too close to your home. So the thought of them lashing out at these young ladies instead of myself is just sickening. Of course, I have no definitive proof on me. If I did, they would most certainly be in prison as I type this. Obviously, I have nothing to do with them at all anymore. Whenever I was abused, it was either psychological and sadistic, which is just impossible to prove to authorities unless there is a non-biased witness, or the abuse left any marks on my body, which again is pretty difficult to prove.
Never left.
My mother once told me when I was 14 that if I ever went to the police, she would lie, and then she asked me who I thought a judge would believe, her or a teenage girl.
That's such a fucked up thing for the mom to do, bro. Imagine your daughter getting abused and you talking about some, if you ever went to the police, I'm gonna lie. Who's the judge gonna believe? Me or a teenage girl? You're fucking weird, bro. You're so weird.
I was terrified to go to the authorities because I thought no one would believe me. And then the aftermath would be much worse.
Like, you need to
for
keep
me.
yourself safe, bro. It's like,
Since then,
niggas
however,
like this that
I have
just...
had my stepbrother charged,
Oof.
and he did end up spending some time in jail for some of the crimes committed against me.
Okay, I'm glad
although
to hear that.
most of them have gone unpunished.
Damn.
I don't hold any malice about that, and I'm impressed that the Victorian police were able to put together a case on what information they had, and that they were able to charge him at all. This does not
kudos to the
alleviate my
police for,
concerns about the Mr. Cruel case, though.
somewhat.
There are so many coincidences that I find frightening. 1. The intense interest in the media coverage of the cases. 2. All of the victims being the same age and having the same hair
Weird,
color
weird,
as
weird.
myself. 3. living
Now that's
in-
actually so weird, but like, it's like, bruh. Oh my fucking god. Same age and same hair color. Like, clearly they were just like looking for somebody they could pretend to be the sister / daughter, which is very fucking sickening. Fuck, bruh.
approximate area where he was committing the crimes. 4. Their facial hair being the same as the sample found at the crime scene. 5.
Surely they can get a
colloquialisms
fucking DNA
that
test.
match Mr. Cruel's pattern of speech. 6. The time frames that Mr. Cruel was committing his crimes match the times that both of my family members were in Victoria. 7. Living in the northern suburbs, we lived close to the international airport and underneath the flight path.
All
of
these fucking
airplanes.
coincidences, bro. Shit is not no
8.
coincidence.
My stepfather's compulsion for tidiness and my stepbrother being in the army at the time that Mr. Cruel was active. 9. Mr. Cruel's activities seemed to cease when both my stepfather and stepbrother moved interstate from Victoria. 10.
That's what I was
My
just thinking.
stepfather's
What?
Fascination with serial killers. And 11. My family coming from Tasmania, as the police believed that Mr. Cruel was either Tasmanian or from New Zealand. This is an awful lot of coincidences concerning one case, or one offender.
Yeah, like, couldn't
I
they,
guess
like, bro, they don't
all
even
these
need a DNA test from, like, the fucking brother or dad. Bro, how do you think they found the Golden State Killer? Bro, all she needs to do is just give them a sample of her DNA, and then they can match it. Surely, right? I don't know, I feel like she could do a little more than she's doing, respectfully.
Incidences don't really amount to a criminal case, but it has left me feeling ill, terrified, and with no one to talk to about this. I did try to mention it to my biological father once, a few years ago, but I think he thought perhaps I was overreacting, as he was not aware of the abuse I had endured as a child. I never told him
Why didn't
about
you tell
any
him?
of this, Even when my stepbrother was charged and went to jail, my biological father had no idea why, and had no idea that my mother was aware, and that his father was also a part of it all. I can't shake the horrible feeling I feel.
Time out, bro. What? Hold on. Even when my stepbrother was charged and went to jail, my biological father had no idea why. And had no idea that my mother was aware. And that his father was also part of it all. Bro, what? She probably meant stepfather, I'm assuming. Because she ain't mentioned nothing about no grandpa.
Like I was raised by a serial abuser. Well, that one I know is a certainty, and a murderer who had no problem in taking the life of a young girl. I know that either of them are capable of such actions. Although, if I was asked to choose which one I thought it would most likely be, the physical attributes match my stepbrother. But the calmness of Mr. Cruel is something that was more often displayed by my stepfather. So, I don't really know. But I am very sure that one of them, if not both of them, were involved in this case. I just don't know who to approach who will take all of this seriously. I also have a family of my own now, and I don't want them to hear about any of it. I have to be careful because I don't want to expose my children to these kinds of images or thoughts. Lastly, I would just like to add, for those who question as to whether or not my thought process about this situation is stable, I had to be psychologically assessed as part of the legal requirements when I had charges pressed against my stepbrother. The courts need to assure that the person making those kinds of allegations are mentally aware of their accusations, and that there is no sign of mental illness where they may have misinterpreted a situation. Yes, there are psychological effects. I suffer from PTSD, but honestly, if you knew the true horrors of the home I grew up in, then you would be amazed if anyone could endure such an upbringing and walk out of that home without any emotional baggage. If anyone who reads this knows of a person amongst the Victorian Police Task Force who would be interested in talking with me, I have no problem with this, and would appreciate a way to contact them.
Bro, just reach out to the police. Why is she talking like she can't just reach out to the police? Like, what? What's good, Kason? How you been, bro? How you been?
I am sitting here shaking as I
know a
recall
way to
my
contact
old
them.
home
Not
and
one.
what
That's what I'm
those
saying,
poor
bro. Like,
girls
what?
had to endure, and poor Carmen, who probably did nothing wrong other than view his face. My heart goes out to her family, but I am so scared that her family would bear a grudge towards me, even though I have nothing to do with the whole situation.
Bro, just
and
reach out to the
was
police,
the same
bitch.
age as their Carmen. Grief can make someone view perspectives differently. I would be ashamed to face them unless...
Like, bro, the family is not gonna hate you for... She's actually about... Her thought process is so fucking cooked. You're scared the family is gonna hate you? I'm not gonna lie. If I'm a family member of one of the victims and I'm reading this bullshit right here, I would fucking despise you. Because you have all this information, you're over here like, oh, if somebody from the police force is interested in talking to me, please reach out. Bitch, how the fuck are they supposed to reach out? How about you reach out, bro? 911. Surely you can like search up Mr. Cruel Task Force or Mr. Cruel Tips, tip hotline, some bullshit like that, and you can find a fucking phone number. Or just simply go to a police station, call the police. Do something, bruh. I feel like she could just do more. And her, obviously, Carmen's family is not going to hate you if you're the reason Mr. Cruel is caught. Me personally, a serial killer killed a family member of mine. And one of their family members is the reason why that person was caught. I'm going to be fucking very, very grateful for them. You are withholding information that could result in a capture of Mr. Cruel. And you're not saying anything. Like you're setting up yourself. Good, Brody. I'm glad to hear that. What you been up to? Do not search on Mr. Cruel Tips. Trust me. Bruh, see, now I'm searching this shit up. Mr. Cruel Tips. Please don't be no bullshit. Images. Bro, he look mad creepy, bro. Fuck. Bro, hell nah. But this nigga look too weird. How are people this sadistic and just fucking... You're gay? Ironic.
I was able to assist them in getting some kind of justice. I have not mentioned any names other than that of Carmen Chan, who was one of his victims. I have not mentioned the exact suburbs or exact information, as if this is of interest to the police, I don't want to jeopardize any possible investigation and outcome by posting information publicly before an official investigation is done. Nor do I want to cause any possible biased opinions, as this could affect the outcome of a court hearing. I am not saying that my step-family members will ever be charged, or go to court, or that they are definitely guilty. But I will not take the risk of ruining any chances of possible justice, just so that I can tell my story on Reddit. Thanks for reading. Perhaps someone will respond with some kind of information or advice. So, before digging into the post that Corrupted made, I feel it's important to give some background on who Mr. Cruel was. Mr. Cruel is the name given to an unidentified person who was responsible for sexually assaulting 3 children in the late 80s in Melbourne, Australia. He was
3 children?
also...
So he assaulted 3 children and killed one of them. If I have my numbers.
A prime suspect in the murder of a 13-year-old in 1991. The victim, Carmen Chan, was abducted from her home on the night of April 13th, 1991, and her body was found almost a year later, a little over 10 miles away from her home.
Okay, time out, but her body was 10 miles away from her home and it took a year for it to get found. I mean, she was probably being held captive. Okay, I don't know how long she was dead for. Let me not.
As of the date of this upload, Carmen's murder is still unsolved, as are the 3 sexual assaults on the other victims. So, what OP is stating in her post is a very serious accusation to make against a person or persons. Mr. Cruel, his crimes, and his victims are all real. They're not some story that's been cooked up online or some elaborate ARG. Adding that with OP's post and genuine concern and fear that they feel around this does add to its credibility. And while she has no pictures or evidence other than recountings from a mind on events that happened 30 years ago is iffy, something about how she told the story and some of the pieces of information on dates when the family would move does eerily line up with the actual facts from the case.
That's very weird.
As OP stated, her stepfather and stepbrother displayed traits that were similar to Mr. Cruel, and the dates at which her family moved to areas surrounding where the crimes occurred is suspect. Going even deeper into something that stood out to me was an officer assigned to the case stated that it was believed that there could be as many as 12 victims that could be tied to Mr. Cruel. The only problem was that there was no physical evidence left at the scene. As OP stated, police did recover a hair from the crime, but there were no forensic evidence that was left behind. Police also stated that Mr. Cruel was meticulous about his crimes, making sure to conduct surveillance on his victims, as well as always keeping his face covered, and oddly enough, sticking to a very tight schedule. One example of this was from the 3rd victim, who told police that her abductor told her that he would release her in exactly 50 hours, and he did, at exactly the 50-hour mark. OP also stated that her stepfather...
Yo, this nigga moves like, bro. This nigga moves like me when I'm trying to end stream. Fuck he got going on? Nigga always trying to, bro. I will release you in 55 hours? So specific and random. What the fuck?
Used separately the 50-hour mark. OP also stated that her stepfather used several different colloquialisms, and Mr. Cruel was reported by his victims to use various ones as well, such as worrywart and use. Now,
Or
obviously, that can't
use.
be considered evidence since it was such a common term used in that area, as well as that age range. But what it could do is help OP's case that she could be onto something. But what I have to point out is narrative. We as readers can get a sort of tunnel vision about things, and we can start to bend or stretch narratives to make them fit in a way that we want them to. True, OP has no evidence that her stepfather or stepbrother are in fact Mr. Cruel, but the points that she brings up as well as the timelines do make this story interesting. Another thing that stood out to me was her demeanor throughout the entire post.
Good morning, Kai.
She seemed genuinely scared to even be posting about it and keeps details about herself and her family very vague in fear of her other family finding out about her as an adult. She goes into detail about personal things involving her current family and how she worries about their safety as well. And given the abuse that she endured as a child and a young teen, it's warranted for her to be vague about details. OP mentions through further comments that she has
Nigga started choking her. What the fuck?
attempted several times to get police. OP mentions through further comments that she has attempted several times to get police involved, and that she had been turned away almost every time due to a lack of any evidence. And to the police's credit, they are right. I'm sure they have.
Yo, thank you for taking points away from Man City today, buddy. You're going to help us win the league. I appreciate you. I hear that. Glad to have you back. Been great recently. We are massive. Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. Wait, shit. I don't know about massive, but I'm glad to hear you've been doing good, bro. What's good, Kelvin? What's good? What's good?
Have a person making this claim, but without any evidence, then they have nothing to bring charges against them other than a few circumstantial things. OP stating that they did live in the area during the times the attack occurred, as well as mentioning her stepfather's obsession with detail and organization, is strong enough, at least for me, to not rule out her story. The biggest thing, though, that stands out as an issue for me is that even if we take away this post and solely focus on Mr. Cruel and his crimes, there have been no new victims or major updates to the case in decades. It is still an ongoing investigation, yes, but with no other reported victims confirmed since 1990, it makes this case very difficult.
Predator.
I mean, hell, I wasn't even born.
Predator, abductor, killer. Yo, Kai, Chelsea not even playing that bad. Or, I mean, y'all still dookie. Don't get me wrong. But as of late, you guys have not been doing that bad. I mean, y'all beat Taunton shit, drew against Arsenal, and drew against motherfucking Shitty. So, hey, bro, that's good enough for me. Best team in the world is crazy, Dicky. I can't lie.
It makes this case very
difficult. I lost to
difficult.
Brentford, bro. Chill.
I mean, hell, I wasn't even born by the time the last attack occurred. There are theories on the topic involving the only murder victim, Carmen Chan, and that with her death it caused Mr. Cruel to simply stop the attacks and go on with his normal life. But rarely is that the case. 33 years is a very long time to lay low. Perhaps Mr. Cruel died, maybe he was arrested for another crime altogether. But for me at least, I don't think that he simply just stopped.
What the fuck is this?
The police.
What the fuck is this photo, my nigga? The hell is this?
Are no closer to catching him than they were at the time of the attacks. So with virtually
he's a real
no
nigga,
clue to
Kai.
your identity, a case being incredibly cold, and with so much time in between the attacks since the last one, Mr. Cruel seemingly got away with
I don't know why
act
Chelsea fan
and
laughing.
would have been able to carry on his crime spree. Yet, he didn't. There are countless times when incredibly acts. The police are no closer to catching him than they were at the time of the attacks. So with virtually no clue to your identity, a case being incredibly cold, and with so much time in between the attacks since the last one, Mr. Cruel seemingly got away with his acts and would have been able to carry on his crime spree, yet he didn't. There are countless theories on this case, and this Reddit post is just the tip of a very large iceberg. So much so that if there is enough interest on this topic, I have no problem making a full, dedicated video.
Yeah, low-key make a video,
countless
Cadaber.
theories on this case.
Because I'm trying to hear the theories and shit.
There are countless
This
theories
seems like a very
on this
interesting case.
and this Reddit post is just the tip of a very
I'll
large...
fuck around, hit Cadaber up. Tell him to make a vid. Yeah, I think he would listen. You're lucky for all my dad for Liverpool. I don't even get how you find that comedic anyway. That's what I'm saying. Especially as a Chelsea fan. How do you find that comedic, man? Nigga, get to the fucking... Nigga, you guys are not going to be able to even sniff top 4 even if you wanted to. You lost to a shit French team. Bro, we were basically just going easy on them just to make our group a little bit more interesting. Like, trust, bro. I had talked to Klopp and I was like, bro, lose on purpose so it could be real, just be a little interesting. And on top of all that, you fucking nig. We should have fucking beat Toulouse. Right? We should have beat Toulouse. That's not beat. We should have at least drew. We should have beat them, but at the very least we should have drew. VAR fucked us once again. We should have beat Luton Town 100,000 fucking %. And we should have beat fucking shit Spurs if VR didn't fucking dick us. All that, and if we weren't on 9 men playing against 12. If it wasn't for all that, would be top of the league.
Check
Hope you know.
And Dylan cooked up a bet.
Let me see. More. It's not a bad bet for real, to be honest. But that Porzingis one throwing me the fuck off. Nigga, more? Does that nigga even pass the rock like that? Same with Mitchell Robinson. What the fuck we watching? Reddit Rabbit Holes Part 3. Don't hate on Lewin. No, shout out Lewin. What's good, Jaw Spinner? No. Fuck no, Jackson over New. Nigga, you are out of your mind. Lewin own. No, hell no. You're a tweaker. See, that's how I know you didn't watch the game, nigga. Luton Town fucking goalie turned into Prime Buffon and Prime Neuer combined. Nigga, that, bro, he turned into the best goalkeeper in the fucking world for no reason, but that's every keeper against us, to be honest. Fuck, Spurs and City always make refs, and Arsenal. Shitty is too corrupt.
Porzingis and Mitchell Robinson.
Our bad games are literally playing. That's what I'm saying, bro. We only have bad games just to have fun, just to make it a little bit more interesting. Don't hate on Lewin again. I wasn't even hating on Lewin. Yeah, football team just very interesting to say the least. Doku fouled James first, and Gallagher was holding his head. Power ref should have stopped the game, bro. Doku is like nice, but at the same time, he kind of dookie. He has one skill move that he just spams.
So much so that if there is enough interest on this topic, I have no problem
Walker did
making
handball.
a full
Yo, Anthony Taylor was the ref? Oh yeah, that nigga Anthony Taylor's a
video
bitch.
on Mr. Cruel.
Tragic.
And as for OP, she may be right. She may have been sleeping in the same house as one of Australia's
115
most
breaches
elusive
is fucking
criminals.
insane.
A person who seemed to be the embodiment of the boogeyman.
Niggas is quick to act on everything but the city charges. Crazy. Does he actually spam that or you just watched the Verif video? Well, I'm not gonna lie, bro, I'm actually a fucking OG of Verif. But I promise you I am. Bruh.
Can you put down the bet now, cause the numbers might change?
You want me to do that shit now? Bro, I've been watching that nigga since he would get like not even 1,000 views a video, bro. But he does spam that move, bro. I was watching the fucking Champions League game the other day. Not the other day, but like I was watching, I think one or either the
I'm cooking bets TMR,
the one before the last one or
$200
2 games
in
before the
Twitch.
what you say? I'm cooking bets tomorrow if I ain't win $200 on Twitch. Either way, is that ooh sound coming from the video or outside my door, bro? I'm getting scared. Wait, let me see. I think the video. But nah, he does spam that shit. It's like a little like fucking just I don't even know, bro.
Something that has always been a little unnerving to me.
Yo, Kai, y'all
is
niggas
the
not
fact
even
of
playing
how
European
many
football. Shut your dumb
cameras
ass up.
Are out there. Walk into any store, use any computer,
And you're not
hell,
gonna play
grab your
European
phone
football
that's sitting next to you,
next
or
year
look
either.
at the one that you're currently watching this video on, and you realize there's a camera on it, a lens that shows you silently. Yet we could have no
Let me know
idea
when
it's
you place
happening.
it.
People have
Hold on, bro. The hidden camera.
grab your phone has always been a
Third
something
Europa
that
League?
has
Hell no.
always been a little unnerving
Y'all not
to
even
me
sniffing top
is
four.
the fact of how many cameras are out there.
True.
Walk into any store, use any computer, hell, grab your phone that's sitting next to you, or look at the one that you're currently watching this video on, and you realize there's a camera on
So you
it,
don't play during
a
weekdays.
lens that shows you silently. Yet we could have no idea it's happening. People
Okay.
have an unease of cameras being on them for obvious reasons. We all would be uncomfortable being filmed and not knowing that it was happening. It's an invasion of privacy that is unique only to cameras. And while we all have an idea of how we would handle of being in a situation of being unknowingly recorded, what happens when it's not you? What do you do when you realize that you are not the target, but instead the unexpected audience? This is exactly what happened
Unexpected
with
audience,
one Redditor
bro.
who has since deleted their account. Yet their post is still up for all to see. This is one story of how humans truly are scarier than any movie monster that Hollywood can cook up.
Can't cook up is
A
crazy.
true,
terminology.
very creepy surveillance story. So first of all, I only just discovered this subreddit today, which
I know they owned you in the start of the season. No, you didn't. Nigga, it was a draw. Are you dumb?
So first of all, I only just discovered this subreddit today, which reminded me of something that happened to me back in 2008. This was a
Kai,
huge
your
thing to
forehead,
my
mad
friends
crook
and
gang.
family, and I didn't really want to talk about it back then as it scared the fuck out of me. But it was a while ago,
Yo.
and it is a really well-known creepy story among myself
that man
and
you
my
talking about,
friends
Trey?
and family. But
It's
I think
creepy
I
story.
may as well share it, as it is admittedly terrifying.
Hey, what's
I was living with my parents and
CFC
sister
mod.
in Brisbane, Australia.
Shout out
at the
CFC
time,
mod, man.
2008, which means I was 19. I remember my dad.
But what's
had
up with all
just
these Australia
Foxtel
stories?
Cable TV in Australia, but
Okay.
only the TV in the
2008,
lounge
which means I was
room
19.
could use
Okay, so 2019. Or sorry, no, 2008. But you were 19. I remember that. Just got first saw cable TV.
the cable box, and I really wanted to somehow get cable in my room without paying $99 or whatever it was for a new box. So Dad went out one day and bought an AV transmitter and receiver. It was basically a two-piece bit of hardware.
I see it, Calvin.
where you
Stay
would
safe,
plug
bro.
this
Stay
tiny
safe.
box into the cable TV in the lounge room, and it would transmit a video signal to the receiver connected to the TV in my room. So one Saturday, I decided to connect it. This
Okay,
is a
hold on.
picture I took of the
Wait. I'm a refund hater.
setup when I was telling my friend the story. This is in my room. So one Saturday, I decided to connect it.
Okay, you connected
This
it.
is a picture I took of the setup.
W
when I
setup
was
question
telling my
mark?
friend
This is the VROEL
the
setup.
story. My younger sister, 16 at the time, was the only other person at
Devil.
home at the time. She was upstairs
The
in
vigor.
her room, and my room is downstairs. I opened the box and connected it to the TV.
Okay.
At first, I was going back and forth, trying to get the cables right and trying to get the channel right, but no luck, until I finally got something. I remember just sitting there and something started fuzzing in, and this is where things start to feel like a horror movie. I remember thinking, oh, here we go, and waiting to see the picture come in clearly. As it started fuzzing in, I remember that this whole time the cable set-top box wasn't even on, and that's why it wasn't working this whole time. But then, why was I getting a signal? It seemed to hit me.
Wait. The cable set top box wasn't even on, so I was wondering this whole time.
All at once. As I realized the box was off, the picture fuzzed in, and I saw a bed.
Bro, what? What the fuck?
I freaked the fuck out, as at first I thought it was my bed. I had recently seen Saw 2 and remembered that scene where she turns on the TV and it's a camera filming her in her apartment. That was the first thing that I thought of. I sprinted upstairs to my sister, absolutely terrified. I told her to come down and take a look. She came down and we both realized that it wasn't my bed. We didn't know whose bed it was or how I was getting the signal. Obviously, it was the AV receiver picking up a camera signal, but we were just so confused as to who or what it was for. Eventually, my parents came home and we concluded that it would have to be a neighbor or someone living close by for us to be receiving the signal. We waited around until about 6 p.m. and then someone came into the room.
Are you going to see a photo of that? Oh, fuck no.
My dad recognized it as one of our neighbors. We still don't know what the camera was for, but we assumed it had something to do with fidelity. Either his wife or he had set it up to watch the other and see if they were cheating. Either this, or it was to tape themselves having sex. We entertained the idea that he was a murderer and would film himself murdering people in this room, but just to freak each other out. We'd always make jokes about how one night we'll turn it on and it'll just be his face with clown makeup on, staring at the camera, waving.
Yo, that'd be fucking terrifying. Oh my god. Yo, imagine you turn the fucking TV. Like, imagine that happened to you, right? Like, you saw the nigga in your TV, or like you saw the bed, and like you saw like the nigga come in, and you recognize it as your neighbor, or whatever. And then one day you just turn the TV on, and he got clown makeup on, with a bloody shirt, staring at the camera, waving. And then he walks out of the motherfucking bedroom with a knife. Yo, you gotta move. You gotta like burn the house down and move places, bro.
This never happened. But what did happen was still super creepy. We connected to this signal for over a week, but after a few days, the novelty kind of wore off. We felt a bit weird watching it and just resigned to the explanation that it was to catch his wife cheating. Until one day, we turned it on and realized what we had discovered. Our neighbors were having a bunch of renovations done to their house. During weekdays, they would be out, and there would be more workers at the place pretty much all day. It had been like this for over a month. We started watching the feed and saw a man walk into their room. It was the plumber that had been there regularly for the renovations. We didn't think anything of it until he started opening drawers. I called to my mom, the only person at home at the time, and we started watching it. He started going through the wife's underpants and doing all that creepy shit. At first we were like, oh my god, how embarrassing, he's being filmed. Will the neighbors see this somehow? But then what happened next was truly terrifying. He slowly walked over to the camera and looked right down the fucking lens. We were convinced that he knew we were watching. Mom immediately called Dad, and I kept watching. He started fiddling with it and then put it back down. I told Mom that I don't think he knew that we were watching, but he is definitely the guy that put the camera there. Dad came home, and by this time, the plumber had left. Much to Mom's pleading, Dad went over to the neighbors to tell them what we saw. Mom went—
oh shit! Nigga, it's— oh, that's crazy. It's not the husband or the wife that set the camera up, bro. It's the fucking plumber trying to catch them niggas fucking for, like, what, jerk off material? Oh, hell no. Yeah, that nigga got it for sure. You play Fort Ranked? I was just on Fort earlier, but no, I have not played Ranked yet. How you explain that to the neighbors? You just gotta be like, okay, we got a TV. And so now you don't gotta say you've been spying on them, bruh. You just gotta be like, you could just say, you can pretend like it just happened. Like, you don't gotta be like, oh yeah, I've been watching you for fucking weeks and like I just fucking noticed. No, you could just be like, bro, you You could just be like, I turned the shit on and it connected to some random signal and it was your fucking room. And we saw the neighbor sniffing your fucking wife's panties and he probably set the camera there up himself. Why do you want to see him fuck? You really think they would believe that though? Why wouldn't they? Would you? I mean, see, now you're making me doubt it, my nigga. But like in the moment, I feel like I would believe that. Yeah, I'd be like, cause like, why would they lie about like them just seeing it? That's some cuck shit, and I'm saying that. I mean, technically it is some cuck shit because he's probably interested in the wife, but at the same time, it's probably like porn to him. Like because he's not romantically interested in her. He probably he's just lustful, wants to fuck her. But nonetheless, I mean, why wouldn't they believe it though, Vadet? Cause like, what would make them think, oh yeah, these niggas been watching us? I'm saying the moment no one's gonna believe the coincidence of it. I mean, why not? What would you think happened then, Vadet? In my opinion, like, the first thought isn't gonna be like in the back of your mind. You're gonna think, what the fuck, were they spying on me? No, bro, no, cause they're gonna tell them that the plumber put it there, cause the plumber did put it there. They're not gonna be like, oh, they put it there themselves, cause I don't think they're friends with the neighbors. They haven't been in their house and shit. Like, yeah, the first thing, like, I don't think the first thing that's gonna come to mind is gonna be like, oh yeah, these niggas have been watching me. They just saw something pop up, and they decided to tell me. I don't know though. Bro, what's good? Now that you're saying that, like, yeah, I feel like if I really started to think about it, I'd be like, yo, what if they been had access to that camera and they're just not telling me because they saw something? Like, if I really started thinking deep into it, your neighbors come by and say, oh, we just happened to see on our new TV camera footage of your house. We just got the TV. Crazy coincidence. No, it's because the antenna or the fucking, like, whatever it was that she was trying to get the channels off of picked up the signal. So they could just be like, oh, we just got like the cable and we were trying to set it up in the TV in my room and it picked up a random signal before it got plugged in. It would still be weird. Like, it would still be weird. I'd still, like, I feel like if I really started to think about it, at face value, I might take the explanation. Yeah, hell yeah, it's suspicious as fuck. At face value, I might take the explanation. I'd be like, okay. But like, if I really like sat down or like was laying in bed one day and I decided to like really think about that shit, I feel like then I'd be like, yo, what the fuck? Like, how long like did them niggas have that camera? Definitely weird, but better that he saw it before the weird person put the camera. Yeah. I mean, it's still creepy nonetheless. Maybe he's probably trying to watch them have sex or some shit, but because, you know, motherfuckers don't be doing shit right away. That's what I'm saying. They probably like, if I were to really start thinking about it, I'd probably be like, oh, they probably waited on it. Why not just go watch the latest video on Body Hub and stroke to that? I don't know, but he had a specific.
Go watch the latest video on Body Hub
I don't
and
know.
stroke to
He
that.
just wanted a wife. He wanted to see the wife. Or is it illustrious? Genuinely scary. You don't think like a week ago, 2 weeks ago? I mean, I'd be like, when? I'd probably ask, I'd be like, when did you get the TV or when did you get the cable? Just so I can know, like, because I don't know, I'd want to know. I'd be like, how long had these motherfuckers had this unrestricted footage of my room?
Wanted to completely stay out of it and was terrified, understandably. When we told the neighbors, they had no idea. I went over to the neighbors to tell them what we saw. Mom wanted to completely stay out of it and was terrified, understandably. When we told the neighbors, they had no idea what we were talking about. They allowed Dad to go up to their room, and what he found that was holding the camera was an installed device in the wall that was designed to monitor water usage, which was completely normal at the time, as Brisbane had been hit with a drought recently, and there were lots of water restrictions. The plumber had installed this into the wall, but he had fitted a camera behind it in the wall to watch the bed.
This nigga is weird.
Immediately, they called the police, who came over and conducted an investigation. For the next week or so, we didn't hear much about it. I spent most of this time just telling my friends, showing them pictures, but truthfully, my whole family was scared every night. It was just very creepy thinking that we could have stuff like that hidden in our house. Chances are we didn't, but it was still really scary.
Yo, 51321 shit.
My mom was speaking to the wife next door.
Canada
asked
shit,
her
Vada
what
shit.
happened with all of it. The wife said that the police found out that
Yo.
he would at
Big V 51321 shit. For sure.
nights happened with all of it. The wife said that the police found out that he would, at nights, come to our
Can you
street and
place the
sit in
bet
his car.
calls? Dylan is telling me that the Mitchell Robinson and the Porzingis bet might change numbers.
How much do I put though?
Which he to the wife next door and asked her what happened with all of it. The wife said that the police found out that he would, at nights, come to our street and sit in his car, which had really tinted windows, and would watch
Put
them on his
$10.
laptop. When Mom told me this, I got the biggest shivers. The reason was, besides the obvious of a creepy dude sitting in his car watching
A nice come to our street and sit in his car, which had really tinted windows. What the fuck? And watch them on his laptop. Yo, this nigga is weird. When mom told me this, I got the biggest shivers. The reason was, besides the obvious of creepy dude sitting and watching people through a hidden camera, was because on multiple nights when I had driven home late from my girlfriend's or walked home drunk. Oh shit. After an hour, I remember seeing a station wagon. I don't know if that's what they're called outside of Australia, but it's like a big hatchback car, always about 30 meters down the street from our house. It was never there during the day, always at night. I'd always walk past it and look at my reflection in the windows, assuming no one was inside. Oh, yo, that's gotta be fucking terrifying. Yo, that'd be scary as a bitch. Oh, bruh. Yo, imagine you like walking home drunk, or like you got dropped off and you're just walking home, or like you drove home, whatever, walking home drunk, and there's a fat ass car, tinted ass windows, and as you walk by, you just look at yourself, you check yourself out, you look at your reflection and shit, and later you find out that there was a nigga inside that car watching your neighbors.
Why they scared like they don't got a 9-inch blade?
But it's not the UK, my nigga. Yo, this nigga saw mum and instantly assumed it was the UK, but this is in Australia.
nights come to our street and sit in his car, which had really tinted windows, and would watch them on his laptop.
Yo, this is
When Mom
fucking
told
terrifying.
me this, I got the biggest shivers. The reason was, besides the obvious of a creepy dude sitting in his car watching people through a hidden camera, was because on multiple nights when I had driven home late from my girlfriend's or walked home drunk after a night out, I remember seeing a station wagon, always about 30 meters down the street from our house. It was never there during the day, always at night. I'd always walk past it and look at my reflection in the windows, assuming that no one was inside. I was always so confused by whose car it was, but literally never thought that it was anything. It still scares me so much that it was just this creepy fucking plumber sitting back in there on a laptop, watching a hidden camera stream of my neighbors.
Yeah, that's weird as fuck.
Is guarding him and Cosmo is a shit defender.
We live in. If anything, that fear has been increased.
He's
in
guarding who,
channels such
Scotty?
as this, covering topics on what is the worst day of a person's life. Yet we as an audience can't get enough of it. Some of us will offer up an excuse as to why we watch this type of content.
Hold on, bro.
As
What the fuck is this nigga even rambling about? Yo, Bastion, if you're still in the stream, bro, hit me, bro. We can low-key
There
cook.
are many things to be afraid of in the world we live in. If anything, that fear has been increased due to channels such as this, covering topics on what is the worst day of a person's life. Yet we as an audience can't get enough of it. Some of us will offer up an excuse as to why we watch this type of content as a guilty pleasure. Others will say that they are learning what not to do in a situation if they were ever to find themselves in one. But what happens when you come across something that isn't going to go bump in the night.
Fuck am I
It's
watching?
not some hooded killer in a dark alley with a knife. It's not a creepy neighbor who put cameras in your house. Instead, it's silent. And once it's discovered, it's too late. That is exactly what user Zeri Masterpiece informed people of when making their submission on what was the
He might be better than
scariest
Renato.
thing that they could people of when making their submission on what was the scariest thing that they could think of was exactly what user Zeri Masterpiece informed people of when making their submission on what was the scariest thing that they could think of was rabies is
Peter
scary.
Probably shoot like LaMelo.
The fuck does that even mean?
It's exceptionally common, but people don't just run into the animals that carry it often, skunks especially, and bats. Let me paint you a picture.
Okay.
You go camping, and at midday you decide to take a nap in a nice little hammock. While sleeping, a tiny little brown bat in the rage stage of the infection is fidgeting in broad daylight, uncomfortable and thirsty due to the hydrophobia, and you snort, startling him, and then he goes into attack mode. Except you're asleep and he is a little brown bat and weighs around 6 grams. You don't even feel him land on your bare knee.
Yeah.
And he starts to bite. His teeth are tiny, hardly enough to even break the skin, but he does manage to give you the equivalent of a tiny scrape that goes completely unnoticed.
Damn.
Rabies does not travel in your blood. In fact, a blood test won't even tell you if you've got it.
What do I take out?
Antibody
Kevin
tests
points?
may be done, but are useless if you've ever been vaccinated. You wake up none the wiser. If you notice anything at the bite site at all, you assume you just lightly scraped it on something. The bomb has been lit, and your nervous system is the wick. The rabies will multiply along your nervous system, doing virtually no damage and completely undetectable. You literally have no symptoms. It may be 4 days, it may be a year, but the camping trip is most likely long forgotten. Then one day, your back starts to ache, or maybe...
Nigga, it takes that long for rabies to like settle in? Fuck. I thought rabies was like a quick moving, like
virtually no damage.
Like a year later is crazy.
Undetectable. You literally have no symptoms. It may be 4 days, it may be a year, but the camping trip is most likely long forgotten. Then one day, your back starts to ache, or maybe you get a slight headache. At this point, you're already dead. There is no cure. The sole caveat to this is the Milwaukee Protocol, which leaves most patients dead anyway, and the survivors mentally disabled. And
the fuck is the Milwaukee Protocol? What does that even mean?
Is seldom done. There is no treatment. It has a 100% kill rate. Absorb that. Not a single other virus on the planet has a 100% kill rate. Only rabies. And once you're symptomatic,
insane, to be honest.
It's over. You're dead. So what does it look like? Your headache turns into a fever and a general feeling of being unwell. You're fidgety, uncomfortable, and scared, as the virus that has taken its time getting into your brain finds a vast network of nerve endings. It begins to rapidly reproduce, starting at the base of your brain.
Yo, this nigga mad freaky. He got like a rabies kink or something? Why he getting so specific with it?
Where your pons is located. This is the part of the brain that controls communication between the rest of the brain and the body, as well as sleep cycles. Next, you become anxious. You still think you only have a mild fever, but suddenly you find yourself becoming scared, even horrified. And it doesn't occur to you that you don't know why. This is because the rabies is chewing up your amygdala.
He sold my fucking parley bitch ass nigga. He just needed to shoot one more 3.
Yo, Smurf, you first of all, you just in time, bro. We're talking about betting, number one. That's such a crazy like time for you to come into the stream. Right on topic. Hey, bro. What did you have on the line? How much to win? How much? Reason I don't bet a lot though is because, bro, the feeling of doing 1.5 hours of 1 0 hours of research on a bet and then losing is the worst feeling. Not a waste of time and money. Yeah, that shit is a disgusting ass fucking feeling, bro. Disgusting fucking feeling.
Because the rabies is chewing up your amygdala. As your cerebellum becomes
To
hot with the
return something
virus,
like
you begin
80.
to lose muscle coordination and balance. You think maybe it's a
Damn.
good idea to go to the
2 for
doctor
80.
now,
Damn.
but assuming a doctor is smart enough to even run the test
Virus, you get into this muscle coordination and balance.
necessary in the next few days you have left on the planet, odds are they'll only be able to tell your loved ones what you died of later.
Yo, rabies 100%.
You're twitchy, shaking, and
Fucking
scared. You have the
damn,
normal fear
that
of
is
not knowing
insane.
what's going on, but with the virus really fucking the amygdala, this is amplified 100-fold. It's around this time the hydrophobia starts.
Oh yeah, hydrophobia is crazy. I saw a video of a nigga with rabies and hydrophobia like yesterday. Yo, that shit was sick fucking work. Devil spawn ass fucking disease.
You are horribly thirsty. You just want water, but you can't drink. Every time you do, your throat clamps shut and you vomit. This has become a legitimate active fear of water. You're thirsty,
My
but
boy
looking
said
at a
he's
class
gonna take a little break from the parleys course. We keep going like 18 to 22 or 15 to 19 on 70k parleys.
That'd make me sick to my stomach every time. Leave videos of roll with a face cam. Roll with a face cam. Let's see. Yo, this is not me, bro.
Kiss my teeth. I mean KMT. She want picking up when I'm in the AMG.
Bro, who the hell is this? Can't send her this because you too cute, little bro. Nigga, why the fuck would you send her that in the first place? This shit's not even a quote. It's over for y'all.
Kiss my teeth. I mean KMT.
What would your reasoning behind sending this to your girlfriend be? It's not like it's a cute little couple quote with some bullshit, nigga. It's another nigga putting on a fucking goatee filter.
Asian VROEL.
Like, bro, what? Asian bro. Aight, bruh. How long you streaming for? I'm probably gonna end soon after this video, to be honest.
of water begins to make you gag, and you shy back
My
in
fault,
fear.
my fault, my
The
fault.
contradiction is hard for your hot brain to see at this point. By now, the doctors will have put you on IVs to keep you hydrated, but even that's futile. You were dead the second you had a headache. You begin
Damn.
hearing things, or not hearing at all as your thalamus goes. You taste sounds, you see smells.
Taste sounds,
Everything
see
starts
smells.
feeling like the most horrifying acid trip anyone has ever been on. With your hippocampus long under attack, you're having trouble remembering things, especially family.
Yo, this sounds
You're
terrifying,
alone,
bro.
hallucinating, thirsty, confused, and absolutely undeniably terrified. Everything scares the literal shit out of you at this point. These strange people in lab coats, these strange people standing around your bed crying, who keep trying to get you to drink something and continue crying. And it's only been about a week since that little headache that you've completely forgotten. Time means nothing to you anymore. Funny enough, you now know how the bat felt when he bit you. Eventually, you slip into the dumb rabies phase. Your brain has started the process of shutting down. Too much of it has been turned into a
Rabies
liquid
is
virus.
crazy, bro.
Your face droops, you drool. You're all but unaware of what's around you. A sudden noise or light might startle you, but for the most part, it's all you can do just to stare at the ground. You haven't really slept for about 72 hours.
Holy fuck.
Then you die. Always.
The safest
you
bet you
die.
could ever make is Obi
And
Toppin
there's
under
not
rebounds.
one
He's such a fucking bum.
thing anyone can do for you.
Holy
Then
shit,
there's the
bruh.
question of what to do with your corpse. I mean, sure, burying it is the right thing to do, but the virus can survive in a corpse for years.
Nigga, you won't even get
could
buried?
kill every rabid animal on the planet today. And if 2 years from now, some moist, preserved, rotten hunk of what used to be brain gets eaten by an animal,
You can kill every rabbit animal on the planet today, and if 2 years from now, some moist preserved.
Nigga
rotten hunk of
WTFU watching.
But it's Reddit Rabbit Holes Part 3. Yeah, what the fuck, bro? Rabies is a crazy disease. Mad thing, yeah?
it starts all over. So yeah, Rabies scares the shit out of me, and it is fucking everywhere. You know, there isn't much that I come across when making videos that actually scare me. When I first came across this post, I found myself actually pausing halfway through to start Googling to see if what I was reading was true. And unfortunately, everything is correct. I do want to address one question that is no doubt on everyone's mind. And that would be, I do want to address one question that is no doubt on everyone's mind.
Yo, that's real as shit, Smurfy.
And that would be the Milwaukee Protocol. In short, it's...
Bro, fuck sliding into DMs, bro. I'm sending straight referral codes. When you're ending, after this.
Rabies is placed into a medically induced coma and is pumped full of antiviral medication. But don't get your hopes up for that.
You're fucking
Since its
crazy.
inception in 2004, the Milwaukee Protocol has been used 26 times, and it has saved one person. And even then, it was no walk in the park in terms of and that would be the Milwaukee Protocol.
What is a Milwaukee
Protocol?
Protocol?
It's when a person who has contracted rabies is placed into a medically induced coma and is pumped full of antiviral medication.
Damn.
But don't get your hopes up for that working. Since its inception in 2004, the Milwaukee Protocol has been used 26 times.
26 times.
And it has saved one person.
Damn.
And even then,
Crazy
it
ratio.
was no walk in the park in terms of recovery. Gianna Geese was the only survivor of this form of treatment, and after coming out of her coma 2 weeks later, she essentially had to relearn how to be a functioning person.
Send shoot a bit. Bro said D1. All she did was wish that you had a good day.
She had to relearn how to talk, walk, eat, and even sit up correctly.
Damn.
So, if you think that this
having to relearn to sit up
treatment
correctly
will
is
save
crazy.
you, then you have another thing coming. The way to avoid this is probably the next question. The way to avoid this, if you are ever bitten, if it's a dog, if it's a cat, a bat, a coyote, a raccoon, get checked out by a doctor immediately. Do not wait. After all, like that post said, once you start feeling a headache or maybe a slight backache, you're
dead.
already dead.
That's fucking
Calls
insane.
I sent you 20 the other day from, but we only did $15 worth of bets, and I sent you another 6.
Oh, you sent another 6 today? Okay. Yeah, because we only did 15 worth of. Yeah, that is true. Okay. I didn't know that you had sent me the other 6, but I didn't get no notification for that. My fault.
Did you already place that joint?
Yeah, I did, but I can cancel. I have 5 minutes. Do you want me to play something else? I have 1 minute and 30 seconds to cancel. Just let me know. Yo. Nah, rabies is fucking terrifying, bro. Hell nah. 1 minute 10.
Gabe sending VROEL money for bets. When Gabe hits big for like a 20k parlay, VROEL could really scam.
Why would I scam Gabe? And why would I do that, bro? I'm not no dickhead. There's no incentive for me to scam the nigga, bro.
Recording.
Shit, he swallowed it, but fuck. He's probably gonna throw up. But it's a good video, Cadaber. Good video, but this motherfucker is so underrated.